Hello friends, welcome to the quarterly earnings report where we give an action plan for those companies which are likely to come out with the results based on their expectations on the way they come out with the results plus the technical check done on those stocks. This time we are covering three new stocks. First and foremost, we will discuss a bank, a private bank, Federal Bank, which is likely to come out with the results on tomorrow. And what we feel is that this company is expecting the top line to grow in line with the industry's expectations of around 21%, and the bottom line, that is the PAT, to grow by around 14.5% to 197 crores. If you look at the past performance in the last few quarters, the company's growth in the NIMs have been very steady. It is somewhere around 3.75 to 3.95% in the range. And overall, the only concern for this company is the asset quality, because in the December quarter, the NPAs were somewhere around 0.74%. So that is something where the concern lies. In terms of the valuations, among all the private sector banks, this is one of the bank which is very attractive in terms of the valuations, which is quoting at around 1.7 times its book value. So in terms of valuations, it provides a lot of comfort. In terms of the results, what we're expecting is that the company would come out with some healthy numbers in terms of the NIMs. The asset quality is something which we will be watching out for. And what we feel is that even after the company comes out with the results, looking at the valuations, it looks at as a worth buy. And also in terms of technicals, we'll have a check for the same.
Let's now have a technical check on Federal Bank, which will be announcing its results. The current market price is 410. If we look at the chart, the stock has just entered the demand zone right now of 405 to 392. So it should be a good buy around those levels. The support 1 could be taken at 397. Support 2 is at 392. The resistance 1 is at 420, whereas resistance 2 is at 440. The 8 days moving average is 411.3, whereas 13 days moving average is 413.7. The long-term support for stock is at 360 and long-term resistance is at 453. So all in all, it should be a good buy. The stock has corrected in the past few sessions and just entered the demand zone. So keep a stop loss of 397 and buy near 405 levels for a target of 420 and 440.
The next company is SR Oil, which will come out with the results tomorrow. And what we are expecting the company to deliver is that the top line is likely to grow by around 8.4% to 14,480 crores, whereas we are expecting a decline of around 67.6% in the PAT to around 103.9 crores. Friends, one point to be noted is that the Singapore GRMs in the third quarter were around $8 per barrel, which came down to $7.7 per barrel in the fourth quarter. And in terms of the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of the Gujarat government regarding the SRL's eligibility in the sales tax benefit, the company has accounted for around 6,300 crores of sales tax claim in the quarter third of 2012, and also recorded an interest outgo of around 1,700 crores as a contingent liability. So taking that into consideration, what we feel is that the company is likely to deliver an EPS of around 4.89 rupees for the full year FY 2013. Now, in terms of the results that the company has come out for the last 7 quarters, the company has come out with the PAT estimates which have been in line, which has beaten the PAT estimates for around 5 times out of the last 7 quarters. So this time what we feel is that taking into technical levels, it becomes a buy for us in terms of the results that are like to come out.
Let's now have a technical check on SR Oil. The stock has in a declining trend, but if we go on to see, it has just entered an important demand zone, which is around 50 and 52 levels. So current market price is 51.7. The 8 days moving average is at 52.2, whereas 13 days moving average is at 52.4. The support one for stock is at 50. support 2 is at 48.6, whereas resistance 1 is at 55 and resistance 2 is at 58. The long-term support for the stock is at 46 and long-term resistance for the stock is at 65. So all in all, it looks a good buying opportunity in the stock after its recent correction with a strong support around 50 levels. So one can look to buy in the range of 51 half 51 with a stop loss of strict stop loss of 50 and target of 55 and 58 could be seen in SR Oil.
The third one is Indian Bank, where the company will announce results tomorrow, that is 11th of May. What we're expecting is that the bank's top line growth, which has been consistent over the last 3 quarters, this time we are expecting that the top line growth to be around 9% to around 510 crores, which is below the industry's average growth of around 13 to 15%. Also in the PAT front, we are expecting the company to report a 16% growth to around 510 crores, which is as against the reported decline of around 3.6% in the quarter 3 of 2012. In terms of the NIMs, the company has reported an NIMs of around 3.5 to 3.7% during the last 3 quarters. And in terms of the asset quality, which is a major concern for the bank, because the NPAs for the bank have been increasing from 0.51% in the June quarter, and that has increased to around 0.8% in the December quarter. And this time also we feel that the provisions would be higher because the company restructured portfolio is also expected to be higher due to the loans to the SEBs. So overall, the NPA levels, we do not find that comfort from the bank, and we are not very bullish on the stock in terms of the overall results, and we feel that any negative performance in terms of the results could see a sell-off in the stock.
Let's now have a technical check on Indian Bank. The current market price is 197. If we look at the chart, one can see that there are 2 demand zones which we have drawn. First demand zone is around 190 to 195 levels, and the next demand zone is at 187 and 178 levels. The stock is just near the first demand zone, and looking at the downtrend, it is likely to breach that demand zone. So one can look to, if it breaks that demand zone, one can look to go short with a stop loss of around 201 with a target at 187 and 178. The support 1 for the stock is at 187, support 2 is at 178. Resistance 1 is at 200.1 and resistance 2 could be seen at 208.6. The long-term support for the stock is at 170, whereas long-term resistance could be seen at 220. 8 days moving average is at 205.3 and 13 days moving average is currently trading at 209.7. So all in all, if the supports of around 195 is broken in Indian Bank, one can look to go short with a stop loss of 200.1 for a target of 187 and 178. Thank you and have a nice trading session.